Hello and welcome back to another video. Today we are diving into an altcoin framework that you can use to evaluate and assess a whole myriad of altcoins as we enter the next bull run. As always, however, before we jump into today's topic, make sure you smash the like button, make sure you are subscribed below in order to stay up to date on all of the latest crypto and Bitcoin news. We will be bringing you new videos every single week, so make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss out. So without further ado, we're going to jump into today's topic. And I think just to set the precedence, it's always helpful to have some kind of framework to leverage and think about in order to properly evaluate all of these different projects and all of these different coins that you might be hearing about. Yes, you can take other people's recommendations, you can take other people's word, but as we know in the crypto space, you want to be doing your own research and leveraging, your own time and energy to properly analyze the assets that you want to invest in. And what we're going to run through today is a pretty high level framework to help you do that, to understand these projects at a deeper level and what are the key components that you should be thinking about when analyzing these projects. So we've broken it down into 5 different streams, and then we're going to look at an example as well. But the first thing that you really want to be thinking about is the fundamental analysis. So what are, the fundamentals of the project? What is it trying to do? What is the business trying to achieve? What is the vision for the project? And what is the actual utility of the business itself? Are they a blockchain? Do they have an ERC20 token? Are they creating their own settlement layer? Are they, are they a meme coin? What is the fundamental thesis of the project, and what are they trying to achieve? Often you can understand that at a very deep level by reading the white paper and understanding the project at its core level. Many businesses and projects will also have a roadmap for the future. They might have a coin issuance schedule. They might have different upgrades to their network mapped out for the next, 5-10 years. So reading the white paper and understanding their roadmap will give you a general idea about the business and about the project and what they're trying to achieve. And then, are they building out their own unique infrastructure? As we said, are they a layer 2? Are they building on top of a different blockchain like Ethereum? What are they trying to achieve at a fundamental level? So understanding the fundamentals of the business, is what they're trying to do and achieve unique? Is it something that's been done before? And how does that differentiate them from other projects in the market already? So that's everything you want to be thinking about and considering when it comes to the fundamental analysis. The next thing to think about is the narrative. So what narrative is this project a part of? Is it part of, a popular narrative? Is it part of an up and coming narrative that there's a lot of hype around? So a couple of examples here, we've got layer 2, DeFi, oracles. Is it part of any of these narratives? We spoke in another video previously on our channel about the most popular narratives from 2023 over the past year or so, and artificial intelligence, GameFi, meme coins, and Solana were the 4 biggest narratives of last year. And you want to be thinking about the project and whether it is part of one of these popular narratives, maybe at the moment, or even if it's not part of one of the popular narratives, can you understand what narrative it is part of and how that narrative will play into the entire cryptocurrency ecosystem as a whole? So again, we've spoken in other videos about how different narratives will have different peaks and troughs throughout the course of the bull cycle, and certain narratives will peak at different times in Bitcoin. So you can check out that video on our channel, but understanding the narrative that your project or the investment is part of is super important for understanding the business at a deeper level. Technical analysis is next. So we're not going to dive into too much of that. We don't get into too much technical analysis on this channel, but what you really want to be assessing here is the price charts and the price action from the charts from a trading perspective. So again, using tools like TradingView, thinking about the price action of the asset over the past 6, 12, 18 months, Perhaps you want to dive deeper into that technical analysis to think about, lower lows, higher highs, using Bollinger Bands, using 200-day moving averages, using all of those different technical analysis tools that you might already be aware of to assess the business and assess the project, and using that to help form an opinion on where the price action could go next. Technical analysis definitely has its place in assessing the overall potential of the project. Next up is the team. So thinking about the people that are actually part of this project. Oftentimes you'll have certain meme coins or other projects that are spun up in the crypto space that are, the founders or the people behind them tend to distance themselves from the project itself. And sometimes that might be a red flag for you. So, who are the people behind the project? Are they putting their name and their, quote unquote reputation behind the business and the project? Of course, this is slightly different in the case of Bitcoin, where we have an anonymous creator, but oftentimes understanding the team behind the business and the project is very helpful to know in terms of their experience. What industries have they been a part of? Have they been part of the blockchain or the cryptocurrency ecosystem for a while? And how does their experience play into the potential success of the business and the project? So the team structure, the people behind it, the founding team are very important. Playing into that is also the partnerships and the investors that are on board with that particular project. So a lot of projects in the crypto space will try to scale and grow through partnerships. They might have partnerships with a lot of blue chip companies already. They might be building partnerships as a way to get greater exposure and greater distribution. That all kind of plays into the people and the team behind the project. The board of directors is important as well. Like, do they have advisors? Do they have people on their board of directors who have experience in scaling large businesses and scaling startups during that critical phase of growth? And then finally, the community. Obviously not directly part of the founding team, but the community behind a project is often what will spur a lot of the growth when it comes to new people learning about it. So the people who are advocates, the people who understand the technology and understand the business and the project will be part of that core community to help and communicate the vision or communicate the benefits, the pros, and sometimes the cons of that project to newcomers into the space. So again, we're thinking about all of this. And then finally, the tokenomics. So obviously, when it comes to any crypto project, there is a lot of things to consider when it comes to tokenomics, but it is extremely important. At the end of the day, so much of the growth that can happen in this space comes down to supply and demand. And the distribution, the vesting, inflation are all part of this. So how many tokens or coins are there in the maximum supply? How much of those tokens are already in circulation? How many of those tokens are yet to come into circulation? And will they come into circulation over the course of the next 5, 10, 50 years? Is there a roadmap for those tokens coming into circulation? The distribution investing, like how much of those tokens are owned by the founding team? How much of those tokens are distributed to retail investors and the open market? So typically, it's better to see projects that have greater distribution where a large amount of the tokens are not being held by a small number of founders or core members of the actual team. So all of these things are worth considering when it comes to the tokenomics of the project. So at a fundamental level, that is our kind of 5 pillars for altcoin evaluation. We're going to take a quick look at one example for Quant down below. So putting this framework into action here, we're going to look at these pillars through the lens of the Quant Overledger network. So from a fundamental perspective, Quant is an Overledger platform. They are trying to achieve adoption through more through the means of enterprises and businesses using their Overledger platform rather than individual retail users on the network. So that is the route that they're trying to go, more of, let's say, a B2B play than a B2C play. Interoperability is the core of what the Quant Overledger network does. So it at a fundamental level, it acts to connect different blockchains together, and they help to create multi-chain decentralized applications. So allowing businesses to create applications that work across multiple blockchains is the fundamental core of what they're trying to do. So again, multi-chain availability, we can see on their website that they've got multi-chain compatibility with all of these different blockchains: Bitcoin, Ethereum, Polygon, Polkadot, XDC, Ripple, Hyperledger Fabric, Avalanche. So what they're trying to do is be the glue between all of these different networks and allow interoperability between them. And even more recently, what they've been doing is building out, let's say, connections with some of these more prominent Web 2 SaaS companies like Zapier, Make, and OutSystems. So if you're familiar with Zapier, what Zapier does is basically helps to connect all of these different SaaS companies or SaaS tools together. So you can trigger automated events based on zaps that you create, where you could automatically, for example, connect your Gmail to a spreadsheet, and you can automatically send emails that are triggered on certain events that happen in those spreadsheets. So Quant is kind of like, this is obviously an oversimplification, but Quant is kind of like a Zapier for blockchains, where it allows you to connect different blockchains together and take actions that are based on those connections that you're making. So that's it at a fundamental level. When it comes to the narratives, interoperability and enterprise are probably the two biggest narratives that Quant is a part of. There's not too many blockchains that are part of the interoperability movement, but Quant is probably one of the main ones, and then enterprise as well. They're obviously aiming for that kind of B2B enterprise adoption. We're not going to look at the technical analysis here too much, but if you wanted to bring up the Quant chart, then you can dive into the technicals and see how Quant has performed. Obviously, it reached all-time highs above $400 in the 2021 bull run. We're obviously down at a price point now of about $100. If you were mapping those on the price charts, you could, be mapping different Fibonacci retracement levels and thinking about where Quant's price can go from here. But that could be a whole video in and of itself. The team structure, the leadership team, Gilbert Verdian, along with his co-founders here. Gilbert has a huge amount of experience when it comes to finance and working within the banking industry. I think if you've seen any other videos about Quant and Gilbert himself, you'll see that he has a huge amount of experience in the banking sector with HMRC in the UK, and a lot of experience within just the financial sector in general. So his experience being brought here to Quant, and thinking about Quant through the lens of being an overledger that is working with banks, that is working with the Bank of England. They've recently been helping a lot with central bank digital currencies. So his experience as the CEO and founder of Quant is very much directly correlated with the direction that Quant is moving in when it comes to those partnerships and helping lay the infrastructure for the birth and the growth of central bank digital currencies. Whether you like those or not, that is a lot of the work that Gilbert and Quant are doing when it comes to the growth of Quant. Some of the distribution partners they have, Oracle being obviously a giant in the software industry. So they've built out a lot of different distribution partners, and all of that serves to get Quant's technology in the hands of more businesses and more people for enterprise adoption in the long run. And then finally, when it comes to the tokenomics side of things, we've got Quant, and Quant is a very strong play when it comes to the tokenomics. It's probably one of the best positioned tokens in terms of tokenomics. They've got a maximum supply of only 14 million Quant. And if you know anything about this space, you know that Bitcoin has a hard cap of 21 million Bitcoin, and Quant has a hard cap of almost 1/3 less than that. So only 14.8 million Quant will ever be in existence. We've already got a circulating supply of just over 12 million. So we've got over an 80% circulating supply already in terms of the fully diluted market cap. So that puts Quant in a very interesting position, and in my opinion, a very strong position when it comes to the growth that Quant can experience over the next 12 to 18 months after the halving event in 2024 this year. And its current price is sitting at 105. All-time high was about just under $400. So when we think about this purely from a supply and demand perspective, it bodes very well for the potential of Quant to grow. And we've done a separate video on this channel about our Quant price prediction, but $1,000 Quant at the height of the next bull run would definitely be something that is on the cards here in terms of growth and what it can do over the next 12 to 18 months. And also just thinking about the allocation of Quant in terms of its breakdown. So just under 10 million is the amount of Quant that has been sold to the public during the initial ICO. So a large amount of the Quant network has been floated to the public market for retail investors. There's about 2.6 million for the company reserve, research and development, etc. 1.3 million for the founders, and about 650,000 for company advisors. So a pretty good distribution compared to a lot of other projects. We've got almost 3/4 of the entire supply that is already sold to the public during the ICO. So that again bodes pretty well in terms of the breakdown here for founders, company advisors, and the public sale. So again, this is a framework that you can use for evaluating different projects and different altcoins as we enter the next bull market. It doesn't have to be just for the bull market, but this is a tool that you can use in order to gain a better and a deeper understanding of some of the projects that you might already be evaluating and might already be thinking about. So use this to understand those businesses and those projects at a different level. And as always, if you enjoy these videos, make sure that you hit the thumbs up button below. Make sure you're subscribed to stay up to date with all the latest in the crypto space. Hit that bell notification icon, and we will see you in the next one.